This is a Zotac Zbox, the EN760 model more specifically. It's not the first time I've ever seen one, but my early experiences with Zbox just weren't that great. The hardware was slow, usually Intel Atom or early AMD APU based, and they didn't have decent graphics. So from a gaming perspective, they were basically irrelevant. A global leader in tech recruiting is celebrating Geek Pride by giving away 10 amazing tech prizes. For more info, visit the Modus Facebook page or modus.com. Step forward a few years and two things have happened. Number one is that hardware is much more efficient, and number two is that it's much more powerful. So this same form factor, I mean, it really looks almost identical to the old ones, can have way cooler and faster guts in it. So let's get physical with our Zbox E, that's for Epic Gaming by the way, series mini PC. Overall, there are no surprises here. It can lay flat, it can stand upright on the included foot, and it can be bolted to a VESA-compatible monitor or TV with the included adapter. Also included in the box is a couple of antennas for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, a DVI to VGA adapter, a manual, a driver disc, which you may actually need because Zotac's website is so slow, and the screws for the VESA mount. For the PC itself, we'll start at the front where we've got headphone and microphone jacks, an SD card reader, a USB 3 port, an IR sensor, and a power switch. A funny thing here is that Zotac couldn't decide which way was up for the labels on the front ports. It's a minor issue, but it's definitely one that made me laugh. On the right-hand side is another USB 3 port with a little cover on it and a large exhaust vent. On the left, we find two thumb screws to open up the unit and the mount for the foot. And then the top is straight, smooth, glossy plastic with an attractive orange LED that you can actually turn off in the BIOS, but it's got a very muted glow, so I would personally leave it on. The bottom is the same thing, but with a bunch of ventilation holes and no LED. And this is all for the internal cooling fan. I guess there's also 4 little rubber feet here. Now, speaking of cool, most of the interesting I/O is on the back, where we find power in, our antennas, HDMI and dual link DVI out, 2 USB 3 ports, an optical audio out, and finally, dual Ethernet ports, which feels like a very strange inclusion to me. I would have preferred a mini display port output or something, but maybe next time. Now, hold on a minute then. Normally, these kinds of small form factor PCs are tightly integrated and difficult to take apart. Why did this thing have thumb screws over on the side with the foot mount? Well, truthfully, you're intended to take it apart. It's available as a bare bones where you put in your own drive and memory, or as a pre-built that you just install an operating system on. So once we get inside, we can see the large 6800 Ultra style heatsink that cools a dual-core Intel Core i5 that runs at 1.6 GHz base and up to 2.6 GHz with turbo boost, and a GTX 860M with 2 gigs of RAM. Here we see the included Intel wireless AC and Bluetooth 4.0 card, and finally, over here, we've got the 1 TB hard drive that's included with the pre-built one, but can be removed if we pull out that one screw to reveal 2 DDR3 SODIMM slots, one of which is populated with an 8 gig module. Now, evaluating the performance of this thing could have been as simple as running our suite of games and measuring the FPS, but I don't think it really would have been fair to a product like this. I don't see this as a normal PC. It's more like a console in terms of size and utility. So I took a little bit of a different approach. Using the same image quality settings that we found looked the same as a PS4 back when we did our image quality comparison with Battlefield 4 and Assassin's Creed 4, we wanted to see if this tiny PC, a mere 6 months after we did that video, could deliver the same gaming experience at 1080 as a current gen console, and it did. In fact, it was about 10% faster than our value gaming PC at the time, which was able to achieve the same minimum frame rate of 30 FPS that the consoles target. So this one did it quite comfortably, and it managed that while being much, much smaller than the PC, smaller than a console, and whisper quiet, even while gaming. I'm really, really impressed. But with that said, the EN760 does cost quite a bit more than a PlayStation 4, so whether it's worth your hard-earned money is a pretty tough call, and only you can make that decision once you've considered the pros and cons. It is a great package if you don't mind the spendiness of it. The cooling fan is incredibly quiet, it's well built, fully featured, and tiny enough to hide behind the TV or pretty much anywhere else. So it has that gadgety sex appeal, and it's fairly likely to achieve spouse approval if you have a process for that in your house, given that it'll be out of sight. But the big drawback, of course, is that while you'll have the functionality of a desktop, like a lot more versatility than a console, you won't get the upgradability or customizability of a true desktop PC. So there you have it, guys. I love that Zotac had the guts to build something like this, and I hope it's a massive success, because given what they can jam in a notebook these days, there is obviously more powerful hardware that could make its way into this kind of a form factor if the demand was strong enough. But with Steam in-home streaming finally available, theoretically we don't even need gaming machines on our TVs anymore. But it's hardly perfect, so especially if I had some DDR3 or a 2.5-inch drive lying around, this epic gaming series would likely be getting a look from me, if nothing else, even if I didn't end up going for it and I went for a very low-powered, just streaming box with an H.264 decoder. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Are powerful gaming boxes hooked up to TVs dead? Or do you like the direction Zotac is going here? Or would you prefer just a larger one in the first place? Speaking of direction, here's how to do something fun on Audible.com. Find some celebrity you like and search his or her name to see if they've narrated anything interesting. I picked Jason Alexander of Seinfeld fame because, I don't know, who knows, maybe I hate my ears or whatever. But get this, it turns out that there's a 90-hour New King James Bible reading with its own musical score and some seriously heavy-hitting voice actors, including Jason Alexander. Now you could buy that for just shy of $40, or you could get it for 1 credit as part of your Audible membership. Sounds awesome, right? With Audible's library of over 150,000 audiobooks, there's sure to be something to listen to every month with your membership, and the best part is that by heading over to audible.com/Linus, you get your first one for free with a new sign up. So check it out today at audible.com/Linus. And as usual, guys, the link for pricing and availability of this product is in the video description below the like, dislike, and share buttons, which I'd love for you to use accordingly. Also in the video description is a support link where you can buy a t-shirt, give us a monthly contribution, or change your Amazon bookmark so we get an affiliate kickback whenever you buy new laundry detergent or whatever else. It helps us out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe.